this is Cheryl and this is my channel, Star Garnet Stitchery. Today I have a video for you with, a lot of stuff. I have whips, I have a previous finish whips. I don't have any regular finishes, unfortunately, but I do have some new starts. And I also wanted to talk about my trip to Utah that I took with my family. And that'll be at the end of the video. I have some book things. Yeah, so I have a fair bit. So go ahead and grab your stitching and a cup of something and let's get started. So today is July 7th, 2025. And the first thing I want to say is that my heart and prayers go out to all the families that are affected by that flooding in Texas, and it's just so tragic and so sad. You know, that it just makes me so sad. So I just wanted to put that out there, and if you can donate, do, and if you can't, just send a prayer or some vibes, whichever version you do. And to those people that are still missing. So that's just really sad. And so I just wanted to bring attention to that in case you hadn't heard about that. And yeah, so, and even my puppy Sylvie says, let's get back to stitching and let's not be sad. So if you hear a dog or a person, there are people that live here, and I have a dog. So anyways, so let's see. We have, like I said, we have books. Did I say the date? It's July 7th. Yes. And this is Flosstube 7. I have some books, some whips, haul. I have new starts, a trip to Utah, including I went to Pine Needles quilt shop, and then I also went to Shepherd's Bush, which I had mentioned in a previous video. So first I want to talk about my previous finish. The first thing that, also, if I keep looking down, it's because my notes are here, because I keep forgetting to talk about stuff. And I get sidetracked, you know, like I'll start saying something and then my brain goes phew, like that, like a squirrel. So anyway, first, previous finish, well, the only previous finish I have for you today is America by Blackbird Designs. Sorry, as I was saying before my dog so rudely interrupted, I have America by Blackbird Designs, and this is an out-of-print chart that I was loaned by a friend, and it looks crooked in, like, the border looks crooked, but it's not. I think it's a trick of the light with the fabric and stuff, but it's not crooked, I swear. That's weird. Anyways, it calls for DMC, which is what I used. It is an out-of-print chart, but you can find it sometimes on the secondary market, or you can just check with some friends and see if they have it in their stash to borrow. I love this stitch. I usually am not a monogamous stitcher. I usually just work on what I like, multiple things, and I squirrel and all the things. But with this particular stitch, I really wanted to get it completed and also return the chart. Because, yeah. But I stitched this on 36 count Olympia by Mystic Fabrics. And this frame is just a Hobby Lobby frame. And I finished this back in 2023. So it's not a recent finish, but it's a finish that I keep out year round. Usually I have it up here on the shelf, but I thought I'd give you guys a closer look. Also, my shelf, you'll notice that it's like Harry Potter themed. That is because it's July And for July, I like to, well, I am going to start getting out all of my Harry Potter things because I have a lot, and just doing displays with it. Because I am part of the Frogwarts box by Black Needle Society, so you get cool stuff from there. I also, you know, have a best friend who always finds cool stuff like this Umbridge tea set. The other tea cup is up there. There's 2 shelves. So if you're interested in seeing the shelf, like a tour of the shelf, let me know. Now, keep in mind, this is not all the stuff that I have. I have quite a lot, but I'm still trying to figure out how to display it all, and I need to get like things to tier things so that I can have layers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still figuring that out. But these doilies right here, these pink doilies, like, are they not the most perfect thing for Umbridge, right? And also, they were made by my friend's mom, and she just like didn't want them anymore. And I'm like, I'll take them. And I just had them in my decoration things. And I was like, I swear I have some pink doilies. And I do. And they're perfect. So yeah. But that's why that looks different. And it's not stitching up there. It's just, it's all my Harry Potter stuff. So anyways, okay, so let's get into some whips. I have some cross stitch whips, and I have a quilting / wool whip that I finished a block on, which is pretty cool. So let's do the cross stitch. So in this bag, it's a little baby bag by, who's this? Starry Owl Stitchery. This is one of her like little bags, but it fits a small. So, you know, making it work, right? So this is Liberty Pennies by Hands On Design. Let me get my board because it's kind of wrinkly from being in the bag. I needed the Q-snap last night, so I had to take it off the Q-snap. I also have Park Threads. Don't judge me. Okay, so this is on, I think, 28 count gunmetal linen by Weeks Dye Works, using the called for Weeks Dye Works threads. The called for fabric was like a Fabrics by Stephanie, like slate or something. But I bought this fabric from Jeanette over at Bella Rose Needleworks, and I love the color. Like, it's great, and the colors just pop right off that. And I can see it at night when I don't have a lot of light in here, which is, you know, good times. And so basically what I did was I actually found an error from my previous stitching. So I fixed that, and I restitched what was wrong, and then I did this vine, this leaf and vine, and then this section. So that's what I did since the last time. And I think I maybe might have added, I don't know if I had done the back stitch last time on the flower, the back stitch detail. So my plan is, because this is kind of like a symmetrical design, so to speak, like with the, you can kind of see it's somewhat symmetrical. It's not completely symmetrical, but it's kind of symmetrical. So with these bottom flowers, they both have that backstitch detail off the tips of the flowers. So I'm wanting to finish all the flowers first so I can just do all that backstitch at one time, because I will forget to do the backstitch, and that would be sad. So I am just waiting to do that part until all of those flowers are done, because they're all done in the same color, like the backstitch. So yeah, so that's one of my whips, and I'm putting stuff back into the bags because you know how that goes. If you don't put it back in the bag, things happen to the things, and you know. No, I'm shoving this in here because it fits, but it barely fits. So, I have another bag. I should just use that, but I didn't want to switch bags. Okay, so there's that one. And the other whip that I've been working on that is in this cute bag by Bella Rose Needleworks. It's a zippy bag, a Lori Holt zippy bag that Jeanette whipped up. And this is, I have charts and stuff all over this. Bad Flosstuber. So I have completed, uh-oh, I'm dropping things now. That's not good. I've completed a lot on this chart since the last time you saw it. What chart are you talking about, Cheryl? I am talking about Queen Bee Flower Farm by Hands On Design. So I can't remember where I was in the last video, but needless to say, I have finished a lot of the main sampler. I took a small break because I wanted to stitch and start new things. Let me pick this up because it's got a needle on it. Oh my word in heaven. I don't need to be stabbing myself. That would suck. Okay, so because this design, I have two needle minders with a bunch of loaded needles on it. Okay, so this is where I am. So what I have completed is literally this whole half. Let's take this off. Hold on. Sorry. And it's in the Q-snap, and I have to have it here in the Q-snap so I can actually, like, I don't want to unravel everything because the part that is the stitching that it's actually on the Q-snap anyway, so unraveling this won't help. But look at where I got to, you guys. So I completed the whole truck, all of this grass and flowers, these chickens. And then I had to move the Q-snap because, well, I didn't have to, but I decided to move the Q-snap over as far as I could. Because if you will recall, my margin is like an inch-ish on this side here. So I'm probably going to have to take off this end of the Q-snap and just stitch this part, in this last bit over here in hand. Yeah. So, but I'm doing Bessie the cow. I'm pretty sure that's what Priscilla called her, was Bessie. So I am working on all the white bits of that part of the chart. I started working on Bessie, and then, because once I start getting over here, I'll have to stop. I won't be able to complete the white of a motif. So I decided to just stop stitching. Basically, it's like these flowers right here that I won't be able to stitch in the Q-snap. So I just stopped stitching those, and then I'll just stitch that in hand, which I'm not going to be a fan of. I already can tell that I'm not. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I might put it in a hoop, but I don't even think that'll help. Anyways, because I'm a two-handed stitcher mostly, so, you know, I have one. Some people don't know what that means. Like, I have my dominant hand underneath, and I have my non-dominant hand pulling the needle out. So when I stick it in, I pull it through with my dominant hand and then stick it back up. So anyways, that's where I'm at. So I was hoping to complete it by the end of June, and that did not happen. So my plans are altering a little bit, because this is still a focus, and I am still working on this until it's done, because I want it completed, you guys. Like, oh my gosh. And so I still have to also stitch the sign. So, even when I finish the sampler, I still have to stitch the sign, which is fine. So, and I have a bunch of fabric down here because this is the bottom of the chart right here. And since I'm finishing this myself and I'm probably going to be using sticky board, I'm not worried about having enough fabric. As long as I have a smidge to wrap around the back, that's all that I need. So, because I've stitched many things with a smaller margin than this before because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was still able to finish them, like fully finish them. Yeah, so that's Queen Bee Flower Farm. And I know, like I've said before, that I don't like Monaco and all that kind of business, and that still remains accurate. However, I'm really enjoying the stitch. I think it's because, like, I'm in my mind, each section is like a finish. And so because, like, I finished the truck section completely, like, sorry, I'm showing the chart, not meaning to do that. But because I finished, like, this whole section, that felt like a finish, you know, just like when I finished this section right here, that felt like a finish as well. And so when I come over here and I start doing these flowers, I'm going to come back up here and fill in anything that I missed, just to make sure that it's fixed. Because I know, like, one of the chickens is missing like a wing and they don't have their feet because they're little backstitched feet. So I got to do that on the one on top of the skep. I know that. And then I think this one doesn't have a wing, so I have to fix that, but no big deal. And I am still thoroughly enjoying stitching this. It's a great chart. It's a beautiful chart. It's a great photograph. Like, Kathy did a great job photographing this. But stitching it, obviously, like every other stitch that exists, it's always better when you see it stitched up. So that is Queen Bee Flower Farm. And let's see, what do I have next? Oh yes, okay, so my last whip is a quilting whip. So, oh, I don't even know. Remember, I've talked about wool, right? Wool kits and wool whatevers. And I made that little pillow. Well, I went from the pillow and I jumped immediately into probably one of the most complicated wool projects that I think exists. Because I was like, I want to stitch it and I want to make it. And so at the time, my dad was still living. So he asked me what I wanted for Christmas or my birthday or something like that. And I said, well, I really would like to continue. I would like to do this block of the month. It's already started, but I really want to do it. And he was like, okay, just, you know, here's my card. Just go do it. So I did that, and he passed away partway through the block of the month. So like the last like 3 months I paid on my own. But like it's a gift from my dad. It's the last thing he bought me. And it's this kit called Twilight Garden by Primitive Gatherings. This quilt is a masterpiece. It is one of those quilts that is extremely time intensive. Like, it takes a lot to stitch this. This is not something you're going to just whip up. You know what I mean? However, it's also an heirloom piece. The quilting was done by Linda Hershka of the Quilted Pineapple. If you don't know who she is, I recommend looking her up on Instagram and just looking at her feed. If you like quilting at all and you like the art of quilting, she is really good at showcasing applique. And she and Lisa Bonjean from Primitive Gatherings, they have won quite a few ribbons in Paducah for their quilts. In fact, this particular quilt was what won, I think, Best in Show or it won the grand prize kind of a situation at Paducah. I'm pretty sure that's what the ribbon was on this one. And it was for both the construction of the quilt and for the actual quilting. Now, you can't see it there in this photograph. This looks like it's black. It's not. It's a dark, dark blue. And this is the pattern, okay? Now, the pattern by itself is like $100. And that's because it has, this is the pattern, right? It's the applique and the instructions. Now, there are 12 main blocks here. The center medallion right here. The border that goes around the center medallion, and then the outer border, okay? I think the outer border has 13,000 berries. Those berries are the size of the tip of a pencil eraser. So like this, that's the size. So what I completed was block 3. Because, you know, I started doing this and, you know, I was still learning how to do it and homeschooling and all the things. So I was slow. And then my dad passed away and it was really hard to work on it and it made me sad. And so I'd only really work on it like Father's Day kind of thing. Cause you know, he wasn't here. And so it was a way to think about him and stuff. And this year I was like, I want to work on that. I think I'm ready to actually work on it and like put it into a rotation. So this is I finished block 3. So this one had already been started. I had most of the stitching done on it. I just needed to do the cross stitch over the vines. And this particular block has mistakes on it. It's supposed to look like this version, this quadrant, but somehow I messed up. I don't know. Like I said, I was still learning how to do it. And I'm basically teaching myself how to do this. But yeah, so that's my stitching. All of the stitching, you know, techniques are from, where's that book? It's out of this book. Now, if you are interested in wool applique, or anything like that, this book, Wool, Needle and Thread, the go-to guide for wool stitchery by Lisa Bonjean of Primitive Gatherings. You can buy this through, because it was a Martingale book, which is no longer publishing books, but you can purchase this book again through Primitive Gatherings. I think it has a spiral bound instead of a binding like this. My friend Laura, I think, bought it from them, and that's what it looks like now, which is fine. It still has the same content inside, but it has all the info that you need, like supplies, techniques, the different kinds of thread and what they look like, the different types of needles and what they're for, all that kind of stuff. And then there's different stitches in here, and it teaches you how to do them. Now, sometimes, like, I'm a visual learner, right? So that's like how she shows how to do it in the book. I'm a visual learner, and so sometimes I need someone to show me how to do it, which is why I like video tutorials. And she does have some video tutorials on her YouTube. It's Stitch with Lisa Bonjean. However, the book is still worth the money, and it is helped me a lot. Like, I take it with me if I know I'm going to be doing a stitch I'm not familiar with. I'll take it with me to like remind me how to do it. So yeah. So now block 4 is this block here. So it's got a big basket and some birds and some big flowers. So there's still vines. There's vines all over this quilt. But she explains how to do them, and she has a specialty ruler for it to make it really easy. And I have them all, and I bought them when I got this quilt block of the month. And so if you are interested in this quilt, like if you'd never seen it before and you're like, holy crap, I love it. She is, like, I posted this finish and like literally, I think there was an outcry or something because like a week later she announced that they were bringing this block of the month back. So if you are wanting to get to do this quilt, she will be offering a block of the month. I don't get paid to say this. Like I said, my dad purchased most of the blocks. I purchased the rest. I did the work myself. But like, if you are interested, she has an available block of the month. I don't remember when it starts. I think it's like in October or something. The thread pack. Let me get the thread pack. Hang on. Okay, so I have all of my Valdani in this Whitman sampler chocolate box. These boxes are the best thing for threads, like especially ball threads, like Valdani or DMC pearl cottons. So this is the palette of the floss or the thread. And it's all pearl cotton. It's in, let's see, we got 12 weight, 8 weight. I'm pretty sure there's some 5 weight in here. Maybe. I might be lying. Nope, it's just 8 weight and 12 weight. And so I keep all of the balls in here. I do have needles in the ones that I have used before. And then this just sits. I have a little tub that I keep this active whip in. I wish I had something cuter, like a cute basket, like a Longaberger with like a lid. That would be like amazing, because then I could just stick my active whip in and then it's not ugly. Because I don't like plastic that much, you guys. It's not pretty. Anyways, so this is block 4. So that's, I got to get this traced out onto my interfacing and then put onto the background, and then I can stitch it. So this is all of the roll. It comes like this. So that's what you need for block 4. And then of course, if there's any leftovers, like I keep it in with that particular block until the block is finished. Okay. Because if a berry falls off and I need more of that white, I don't want to have to go hunting for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I do with that. So yeah, block 3 of Twilight Garden. It's so lovely. And I like that I think about my dad when I do this. His favorite color was blue. He probably would have saw this and been like, because he didn't really have the internet before he passed away, so he didn't know what it looked like. But I described it to him and he was like, sounds like some old lady stuff, which it was, but he totally got it because my grandma, his mom, was very into needlecraft, and she cross-stitched on sheets and stuff, and she did pottery, and she sewed all her own clothes. And I have her machine, so I get to still create with that. But anyway, so those are all of my whips that I have so far. So now I'm going to show you my new starts. So I'm going to pause for a second and adjust and get all of that stuff ready. So hang on one sec. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to talk about my new starts. When I saw you last, I had just finished block 1 of my Blessed Bee block of the month, which is like a wool applique, which was it was this. Let me take it out so you can see it. Sorry for the crinkles. I'm trying to not be so loud with it. Okay, so this is block 1 right here. And when I saw you last, the block 2 was about to be charged and available for you to pick up, kind of thing, or for it to ship, depending on what you had selected. And so I went and got mine. It's wrinkled all to heck because I had it. I took it with me to Utah and I had it smushed into this little bag. So this is block 2. And it's on like an Essex linen background. So what I have completed, which I need to get going on the stitching. I probably will be working on that this, like today, like this evening, and trying to get all the stitching, as much of the stitching done as possible. Because the next block is coming out on the 10th. So a couple days. So this is block 2, which is in the center, top center. And I am, what have I done on this? So obviously I traced it and did all the fusing and all that business. But the stitching wise, all I've done is stitch down any of the black. So these top little bit things, I stitched those down, and I stitched down the bee of the body of the bee. So that is what I consider this a new start, because each of these blocks I feel like is a finish, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's not as intensive as Twilight Garden that I just showed you, but it's still work, right? So Blessed Bee, block of the month. And again, I got this from a quilt shop local to me called JK Quilts. I don't know if they still have this available as a block of the month or available. I don't think they're doing kits. I think they just did block of the month. But if you're interested in it, just give them a call or email them through their contact us or whatever on their website and ask them, because I'm not sure. I was also able to purchase all the Valdani threads from them. So, and you will need that to stitch them down. I mean, you don't have to, but it matches. So that's the color palette for that. So that is Blessed Bee, and that is by Wooden Spool Designs, the pattern itself. Okay, so the next new start. Okay, so in this beautiful bag by Bella Rose Needleworks. Like, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. And look at that. And it's got this Lori Holt charm. So this is holding, hang on. This is holding Happy Day by Plum Street Samplers. And this particular stitch is exclusive to Sampler Guild of the Rockies, which I am a member of. I just signed up at the end of May to be a member. So these are the floss. It's a hot mess in there. Sorry. I started this on July 4th. This is the stitch. It's called Happy Day. Unfortunately, the only way to get this pattern right now, it's exclusive to them, is by being a member of the Sampler Guild of the Rockies, and I believe their membership has closed. I think they even extended it for the entire month of June, because originally the cutoff was June 1st, and I'm pretty sure they extended it all the way through June 30th. So yeah, because this was mentioned on Flosstube by like Sweetwater Stitcher and Tattooed Stitcher, and I had wanted to join the guild like last year, but I missed the window and then I forgot. And then I remembered and I joined just in time. So I was able to get this pattern. And I started it and I kitted it up. So part of the floss is my haul as well, because I kitted this up when I was at Shepherd's Bush with all the floss that I didn't already own. So that's how far I got to. Not too bad for like a day and a half. And when I say a day, I mean like a couple hours. And it was super fun to stitch. Now, this right here is this, is that the end? That's the third flower right here. And then there's that other star right here. So it's not a very big piece at all. I am stitching this on 36 count affogato by Fiber on a Whim, which is the called for. And it's so pretty. I just love this chart. So I assume, but I don't know if this will be released to the public in the future. Typically, when Paulette has an exclusive like this, it gets released at a market or a future release down the line. Almost always that happens. Sometimes it gets released later in the schedule. So, like if the exclusivity is a longer period of time, then it won't be available for a little while longer than what is typical. So like Tomato Hill, that was released at market. That was actually a Sampler Guild of the Rockies exclusive that she ended up releasing to the public, like as a general release. So eventually I think this one will be released, especially because it's a patriotic theme, which obviously Paulette does an amazing job with patriotic, but this is the floss colors. And I didn't do my usual kit up situation. I just wanted to start the dang stitch. So I did. And that's how far I got. So we had a pretty quiet 4th of July. My husband had to work on 4th of July and stuff. Like as soon as we got home from our vacation, he had to work. And he was working long hours. So I was just hanging out in the room with him while he was working. And so it was like, I think I posted I was going to start this at like 7:30 or something on 4th of July, 7 o'clock. And that's when I started it. Because we don't really do fireworks. My kids don't really like fireworks or the sounds or any of that. I'm thinking they'll grow out of it, but you never know. So we just didn't buy fireworks like we usually do, because last year we ended up just giving all of them to our neighbor because my kids were scared of them. Waste of money. So we decided not to do that this year. So yeah, so that's Happy Day by Plum Street Samplers. That is the exclusive through Sampler Guild of the Rockies. Okay, so another new start. So this isn't really a start. It's more of like a little craft that I did. So, Stitchy Sarah Reads on Flosstube and YouTube. No, I just said that. Flosstube and Instagram. Behind her, she has her needle minders on these hoops. And so this one here has a tulip pink fabric that I had made. And then Jeanette made that one right there that she gave to me. And then I decided that because I have so many Harry Potter needle minders, I need to make another minder holder. So I had this golden snitch fabric, and it's like metallic, in my stash, in my fabric stash, and I just put some fusible interfacing that I usually use for making bags to make it more sturdy, because that's something I learned with the blue one there, is that over time the fabric starts to sag because of the weight of the minders, because these suckers are heavy. So I made this. And the reason I did that is because of the amount of pins I bought when I was on vacation, that I was like, I need to add another minder thing, because you can see how full that one is, and the smaller one, it's just as full. It just has smaller, yeah, there's no room on them anymore. So I just made this one and made this all Harry Potter minders. Some of these I got from friends. Some of these I got from Frogwarts boxes. Some I bought myself. Yeah, like this one was a gift from my friend Laura, Lefty Laura Stitches on Instagram. And I think she gave me this one too, because she knows I'm a Hufflepuff and she's cool like that. So, but I'll show you the other ones that I have that are right there when I get to my Utah trip, because that's where those came from. Okay, so my next, okay, I had to look at my notes. My next whip, or no, new start is a quilt. Now, we all love Blackbird designs around here, right? I mean, most of us do. I do. So back in the day, like when I very first started quilting, like late 2017 is when I started to quilt for real. Like, and I joined a guild and I started to like actively quilt all the time. I was on Pinterest and I was looking at Halloween quilts. And this quilt popped up. It was a picture of someone had finished it, and you know, on a blog. And I was like, holy crap, that quilt is amazing. But I didn't know what it was called. I just pinned it. Well, apparently I like this quilt so much, I had pinned it multiple times by different people, like different pictures. Pictures of the actual chart, like the design, like the quilt pattern. It's called Midnight Silhouette by Blackbird Designs. Yeah, so interesting. So I've wanted to make this particular quilt for a long time, and like almost a decade. And I just was like, I don't know, but I want to do it with this feel. And the quilt shop where I worked didn't really have this kind of fabric. And a couple of years ago, let's see, when was this? I think it was in late 2023. An online quilt shop called Shabby Fabrics, they decided to do a recoloring of this particular quilt, because this fabric line is long gone. It's a collection that you can't get. However, there's a new one coming out called Wild Orchid. That's a reprint from 2020 by Blackbird Designs, and I'm gonna need to get some of that because it's gorgeous. Anyways, I digress. So Shabby Fabrics recolored the quilt, and I think they did a pretty good job. Now, obviously, the picture is going to be different. And so they recolored it with a variety of lines that they pulled together themselves, and they decided to acquire all those fabrics to make this particular quilt. How did I get this? I did not purchase the kit from Shabby Fabrics. I have two friends, and a gal, she approached me and said, hey, I need you to please quilt this quilt. And I said, sure. And she goes, I also need you to bind it. And I said, okay. So it was for her mom, which is also my friend. And it's for her birthday at the end of this month. And so I was like, yeah, of course I can do that. And so then we had went to lunch and we were talking about just different things. And I had mentioned the quilt to her daughter, my friend's daughter, because I talked to the mom about this like last year. And she's like, yeah, I have that quilt kit, but I don't know if I'm ever going to do it. If I can, when I find it, I'll, cause I'm cleaning my craft room, you know, we can talk about it. And I was like, okay. And then I forgot about it. She forgot about it. Well, then when I was at lunch with the daughter, I remembered, and she's like, oh yeah, I know what quilt you're talking about. So she's like, well, maybe we could barter. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, how about you quilt the quilt and I'll give you the quilt kit. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine with that. And so that's what I did. And this quilt kit is so cool, you guys. So I have everything in one of these what do you call it? I guess they're meant for scrapbooking, but I use them for quilts. And this is, I cut out I did all the vines and I cut out the entirety of the quilt. So these are for the star blocks. And I'm going to be doing that today at some point. I'm going to start working on those. Oops, as I drop things. Now, the vines, which are, sorry, I'm shaking the table, which are all around the outside of the quilts, and then also right here, it's like 272 inches of bias. And so I spent part of my July 4th doing that. I cut out the fabric and then I made a bunch of bias. And then I had this housed on a Lori Holt vintage trim spool, which they are no longer going to do the spools, which is so bunk, but whatever. And this particular quilt is not how I usually do applique, but I don't even care. It is a fusible. It's a laser cut, like you can see. Like it's laser cut. It already has the fusible on it. So all I have to do is take the fusible off and place it where they say to, in the order that they tell me to. I mean, amazing. Now, one thing I didn't know when I was bartering was that my friend's mom, who technically I bartered with both of them, whatever. She also had a thread pack. So I don't have to try and find thread now, which is awesome. Because around each one of these each applique piece, I have to stitch around. I have, like, so not the stars, not these piece stars, but all of these leaves, all of this whole block right here. This is one big center block. Each piece has applique on it, right? So I have to stitch those down. And so... yeah. Yeah, I have to do that. So now I don't have to try and make the threads I have here work or find a color, because they so generously included that with the kit. And now I think I got this the day before or something before I left to go to Utah. Like I picked up the kit and dropped off the quilt to my friend. And all I could think about was getting home. Not really, but like I was so excited to get home and start this. And what's awesome is that I have the pattern. And so if I decide to make this quilt again out of some other fabric, like let's just say I really love somebody and they want this, I can literally do this again because I have the pattern also. So that's really exciting. So that is another new start that I have, and I am already loving it. I can't wait to start piecing all the star blocks. I want to get the pieced part out of the way because I know that if I leave all of these stars until the end, I'm going to be like, meh. I'm not going to want to do it. So my plan of attack is to glue everything down, so fuse everything down, and then like for all of the borders and then the center piece, and then go color and color complete and stitch around all the things under that color within the whole quilt and just complete colors. And then go through, and then before I put everything together, just make sure I got everything stitched down, put it together, and then all I have to do is quilt it. So that way I don't have to come back and do this piecing business that I know I'm not going to want to do. So my plan is I'm going to complete like this as a unit, like they tell me to. I'm going to complete these sections before I start the applique, because I know once I start the applique, I'm going to be like, that's all I want to do, and I don't want to do the rest of this, because I'm going to have so much fun doing that. So that's what I have for new starts. No, I don't. I have one more. I lied. So, I recently posted a Frogwarts Year 6 unboxing where I shared all the goodies that came in the box from Black Needle Society. And it was a stellar box this time, you guys. So go ahead and go give that a watch. I will try and put it as a card at the end of this video so that you can but if you want to give it a watch just to see what cool stuff is in there, and some of that stuff might be available in their vault at a later date. So one of the items was in this bag, and I started Year 6 band sampler last night while I was watching Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And I didn't get that far because I started late because my husband and I decided to build Lego together because that's what we do. And so I built a Lego set first. It was a Harry Potter Quidditch set. So I started in the top left corner and I got these two potions in. And let's see, this right here is the potion Felix Felicis, which is liquid luck. Let me put this behind. So see all the minders I have on here just for funsies. I don't need that many minders, but I put them on there because they're fun. So this color here, the white background or the white that is surrounding it is like B5200. And then all of the inside, the different yellows, that's all one floss that came in the box. How cool is that? And I'm stitching this on 36 count jalapeno by Fiber on a Whim. And so far it's pretty fun. So that's what I did last night. And then I got tired. And then I was like, let's go to bed. So those are all those are all of my new starts. So I am going to clear that away and show all of my non-trip haul, and then I'll do all of my trip stuff. So I'll be right back. Okay. So I'm going to share my non-trip haul. So everything that I bought from the last video until I went on vacation, which isn't that much. And it was stuff that I had ordered because I knew I was going. Stuff I wanted to stitch in the fall that I wanted to make sure I had. That kind of stuff. Also a book. So I shop at a store called Winco for groceries. And they have usually like a bargain book section. It's usually like in this bin that you have to dig through, but this last time they actually had them like propped up. So I have no idea. I think I bought this for $2, this book by Nancy Nagel, brought together by chance, held together by hope, The Wedding Ranch. I have no idea if there's spice. I don't know, because if there's any kind of spice, I usually don't like those kind of books. It's not my cup of tea. If you like it, you do you, but that's not what I like to read. So I have no idea. I took a chance. We'll see. I'm still currently reading Emma. I took a break from that because I really wanted to read Harry Potter, probably because of where I was going on my trip, which was to the Harry Potter exhibition, which I'll get into. So I really wanted to, I was just in the Harry Potter mode. It's July, so, you know, Harry Potter. I just wanted to read Harry Potter. So I just stopped reading Emma. And when I had time to read, I was reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And I wasn't really reading that much from the last video to now because I was busy doing other things. But anyways, I digress. So I bought this book for like $2. So yay for that, adding to the book list, right? Now, let's see. Remember like, 3 videos ago where I said, oh yeah, all of my market haul came in. Nope. Finally got the last of my market haul. So this pattern right here by the Artsy Housewife called Summer Feels, which is gorgeous. And I love everything about it. I love the colors. I thought the fabric was so amazing and unique. So I took a chance and ordered from a new dyer, new to me dyer, called Oak Crown Studios. And the fabric is gorgeous. I ordered 36 count because that's what I like to stitch on. And when I placed the order, I think in February, early February, there was nothing on there that said that it was going to be a 3 to 4 month wait. So I was not aware of that. And anyway, I don't know if I'll purchase from her again. Let's just say that. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. And it's gorgeous. I think Amy tends to dye 32 count and 28 count for Mirabilias. I think that's where her vibe is, and what her market is for that kind of clientele, which is totally fine. So I think if you're wanting something that is in that range, either like 32 count, 28 count, she'll probably have that more readily available than the 36 count. So just know that going into it, because I didn't see anything like that on the website when I placed the order. Or I probably would have got something else, something from Mystic or something like that that's similar. But it's a gorgeous color. I'm glad I purchased it, but I don't know if I will purchase again unless knowing now that it takes 4 months to get a piece of fabric. I don't know if I'll do that. So anyways, that's that. Berry Crumble by Oak Crown Studios. What else do I have? So yeah, oh, that's right. So I asked Jeanette if she could go buy me some of this fabric because she was going to the store where it was. And so she bought that for me because I wasn't able to go. So she just picked it up for me because that's what friends do. I need to put that in my stash with all of my pretty fabrics. I also got the last 2 Fragments in Time for 2025, the Halloween edition, which are 3 and 4. And so now I can start that with my friend Megan. I need to still get the threads. Long story. I thought I got them, but apparently I didn't. Then I also got my June Belle Soie Club from Jeanette. Look at these pretty browns. They're so pretty. So we have the color Teddy Bear, which looks like a teddy bear. We have Biscotti and Mud Pie. Super pretty. Great to plug in instead of a color, right? It's great stash builder and all that. So that is the June Belle Soie. And let's see. So I don't remember if I had shown this bag before. I think I did. This is by Jordan, the Tattooed Stitcher. And inside it's housing the flosses for the word plays by Brenda Gervais. So I keep all the colors on a ring because a lot of them get reused. And then from Jeanette, I had picked up September wordplay. So cute. And October wordplay. and November wordplay. So, I have them housed in here because this is the bag I'm going to be using for these stitches until they're done. I obviously don't have fabric in here for them yet because I'm not ready to start them, but I'll just pull fabric from my stash for these. I think that's all of my non-haul, what do you call it? Non-trip haul. Okay, so now I'm going to get into my trip. So, yes. So we went to Utah as a family. So me and my husband and my 3 boys, we went to Utah. We had a dog sitter take care of our puppy, so she wasn't alone because we don't do that. And that worked out really well. And so we went to the Natural History Museum. We drove down on a Saturday, and we checked into our hotel that had like a kitchenette and all that, so we can cook food because we have a lot of allergies in our family, so we have to be careful where we go to eat. So we can't just go to restaurants like normal people. We have to plan ahead. So the place where we stayed, my husband found it, and it worked out great for us. It was the Hyatt Home is what it's called. And it was in Hyatt Home, Salt Lake Sandy is what the location was where we stayed. And it was pretty centralized. It's actually like across the highway from Riley Blake Designs. And I was this close to being a stalker and going over there and like taking a selfie in front of their like warehouse and be like, look, here's the warehouse. Isn't this cool? But I thought that would be kind of weird. So I decided not to do that. Maybe I should have done that. Would have that been weird? I don't think it would have been weird because I love Riley Blake. I love Lori Holt. I mean, I did a quilt refresh. Maybe I'll put a picture in of my quilt refresh. Like I took down my patriotic stuff and I put up, because after 4th of July, I take down my patriotic quilts and put up all my Lori Holt quilts because I have quite a few of them. So I'll put a picture in so you can see my current setup. But anyways, so we went to the Natural History Museum, and that was an amazing museum, you guys. If you are at all interested in dinosaur bones or geology or anything like that, like it was fantastic. Like I'll try and put in a few pictures where it doesn't have my kids' faces in it, because I don't really want to put their faces on these videos without asking them, you know what I mean. So yeah, but we went there. It was great. They also had a, what do they call it, like a temporary exhibition there for the Ice Age. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but one of the things I bought from there is this there's another thing that's in my room and I forgot. It's a sticker. So it's this is a pin, like an enamel pin that I bought of a saber-toothed tiger, and I turned it into a minder. Yeah, isn't that cool? I love it. I thought it was so good. So, which is why I needed to make another needle minder holder, because you'll see. Okay, so that was on Sunday. They were open on a Sunday, which is awesome. It was actually pretty busy for a Sunday, I thought. And next door to the Natural History Museum was also like it was like an insect type place. And I asked my kids if they wanted to go, and they're like, no, we don't want to do that. So we just went into the gift shop just to see what they had. And then we left. So we also went to a restaurant called Slackwater. So if you are in Utah and you have any kind of allergies or you're vegan, They have vegan dough and vegan cheese at Slackwater, and you are able to get vegetarian or vegan anything. So if that is something that is interesting to you, the restaurant does have that. So, and they cater to allergies, which is great because my two youngest have those allergies. And so it makes it more difficult to go out to eat, like I said. So we ate quite a few times at Slackwater while we were there. And the novelty of being able to just go and have a pizza at a restaurant, it made their day. They thought it was just the freaking coolest thing ever. I had been there once before with my girlfriends when we went to, Stitch West. And so I knew that the pizza and the food was good. So we went there and the boys just loved it. And I got some good food. They had amazing guacamole. That's also really delicious. And that's vegan. So my kids could eat it. So yeah. So we went to Slackwater a lot. And we also went to Red Robin because they also cater to gluten-free. And they have dairy-free, like a dairy-free chicken. So we go there often. Okay, so then on Monday, it was a wonderful day of Harry Potter. And my family and I, this was the reason for going to Utah, was because they had the Harry Potter exhibition, which is a world-renowned traveling exhibit of Harry Potter. And it has, you know, memorabilia from the movies. It has all kinds of cool stuff. So while I'm talking about it, I'm going to insert just a few photos from the exhibition of myself, because, you know, you already know what I look like, and some of the things that are in the exhibition. If you are local to or nearby Salt Lake City, it's technically in Sandy, which is south of Salt Lake. But if you're nearby and you're a Harry Potter fan, and you can't afford to go to Universal Studios in Florida or California, not that I would want to go to that one, but that's a different point. If you are interested in Harry Potter, this is a great opportunity. They had interactive exhibits. They had, you could play Quidditch. They had, it was really awesome. And to see all the things that they had there, like they had just to have it there, it was so cool. And they had like a setup of Umbridge's office, which was amazing. And because I mean, you love to hate her, right? And they had, what else did they have? They had a lot of the costumes, the original costumes. They had memorabilia, they had props, they had all kinds of stuff like that. And so you could go from room to room to room to different subjects of, you know, that you learn at Hogwarts and such. So it was a really cool exhibit. I wasn't sure if they were going to have a good, like, store, because you never know, like, online it doesn't really share that, what they're going to have. But they also, when you purchase your tickets, you had the option to get, like, a swag bag that was themed for your house. I don't know when the exhibition in Salt Lake is going away. You can look online. I will try and remember to put the link for the exhibition for you to look at. But one of the things you could do when you purchased was to get these swag bags that were themed. So this is the Gryffindor one, because they ran out of Gryffindor bags, because everybody is a Gryffindor, right? Anyways, so I got the Hufflepuff because I'm Hufflepuff. My oldest got a Ravenclaw, and my two youngest and my husband are Gryffindors. We actually did the quizzes through Pottermore before we went. Like, when I was purchasing, I did it like sneakily, like, oh, I'm curious, you know, just to see what everybody actually was. But I know from experience that your house can change, because I used to be a Gryffindor, and then over time, like, my whole just everything, all of my stuff changed to being a Hufflepuff. And now I have embraced the Hufflepuffness. So what you get in the bag, you get this cool commemorative bag. And this bag right here by itself is $5. And I think I paid $30 for the bag. And it comes with, oh, that's our photograph. But it came with this cool, and all of these are different. So I don't know what the Slytherin one was because I didn't get a Slytherin bag. I should have done that. That would have been cool because then we had all of them. So this is like a cool little card, like a greeting card. A lanyard for the Hufflepuff themes. And that is so you can put, you know, if you go to Universal, you could put your ticket or whatever in there. It came with this glass magnet, and this right here by itself is $8. The lanyard's $10. And then this is drawing pencils and colored pencils, like a case. And like I said, they're all different. So like Gryffindor got different than Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. So I assume the Slytherin is also different. Like they got different cards, different. Good news is my husband doesn't really care that much about the stuff, so I'll get to have it. So that was what we got at the exhibition. And then we also spent money on other memorabilia. So my husband got a lot of coffee mugs. I got a sweet blanket. That's like one of those like fuzzy blankets. My two youngest also wanted a blanket, so they got Gryffindor blankets. I got a boatload of pins. So these are all the things these are all the pins I bought. So, I got one of each of these because I thought they were cool, and I turned them all into miters. Now this one is already a magnet that you put on your fridge or whatever. So I just added a magnet to make it a miter, but it opens. See? How cool is that? So I made that into a miter. And so that's why I needed another thing here so I could fit all of these on there. I also picked up, while I was there, they had these cute plates that are Honeyduke theme. So sugar quill. And they had chocolate frog plate. And it says the exhibition on the back. So I don't know if you can get them anywhere else, but I thought they were really cool. And I have Honeydukes things. I have another Honeydukes thing right there that I got in a Frogworks box. Clearly I need to redesign things, but you know, next year. Oh, one thing I didn't notice before is it has like those slug things on it too. Sugar quills. I forget what these are called in the Harry Potter world. I don't know if they call them sugar skulls like they do in real life. So anyways, these, so I have those super cute plates now. And my son, who is a Gryffindor, he wanted a cute like zip up sweater thing. And like he goes, Mom, they don't have my size. And I go, okay, well, do they have one in your size that's another house? He's like, yeah. And I go, okay. And he's like, can I get that one? I'm like, okay, you're not a Hufflepuff. He goes, it's okay, you are. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not wearing it. You are. And he goes, well, I don't care. I still like it. I'm like, okay. He's like, because it's Harry Potter. I'm like, okay. So he wanted a Hufflepuff sweater. So we got him a Hufflepuff sweater. Yeah, so that was the Harry Potter exhibition. I recommend it if you love Harry Potter and you like seeing all of the different costumes and things like that. It was really cool to see stuff from the movies. It had stuff about Lockhart, which was really fun. Because my two youngest boys, they've only seen up to the movies up to the Prisoner of Azkaban, because I said they have to read all the books and they have to be older to read book 4 because of the content. So they know who Lockhart is. So they were like, oh, this is so cool, Mom, look at him. And so that was just really fun. It was fun to see their them having the love of Harry Potter like I do, and seeing it from their kid perspective, which I thought was really fun. I also got to do a mandrake. I got to pull a mandrake out of the pot, so that was really fun. Okay, so then the next day I went to, I don't remember exactly what town it's in. I think it's in West Jordan, Utah, and it's called Gardner Village. And Gardner Village is like an outdoor sort of shopping mall, and they have like, it's a bunch of like little dwellings, like little houses and stuff, and the main thing there is Archibald's Mill restaurant, and I've eaten there with my girlfriends, and it was delicious. And every fall they do like a parade of witches, so everything's like decorated for witches and stuff, and everybody dresses up as a witch, and it's like a whole thing. It was pretty cool to go to that. Obviously it's not fall, so they didn't have that this time. It also wasn't very busy, which was nice because I got to go and actually look at things and not feel like there's 1,000,000 peoples. You know what I mean? So we went to Gardner Village, and while I was at Gardner Village, my kids rode the train. And while they were riding the train, as my puppy comes inside, hopefully she doesn't start making noise. Anyways, I went into a shop called Pine Needles. Pine Needles is a quilt shop, and they also carry wool applique things and wool patterns, and they also carry some cross stitch as well. And so while I was there, one of the things, as everything's falling, I also picked up this book from the exhibition, and it has like photos of things, and we're gonna make our own book about our Utah trip with our own photos and stuff, but I thought this was cool to have. And then my son has one too, so that they can all look at it and all that. So this was really cool. It was a good purchase, I think. Oh my gosh, this bag. Hi, puppy. So while I was at Pine Needles, I knew I was going to be going to Shepherd's Bush the next day. So, oh goodness, I'm sorry. Dog is messing with things. Sorry about that. I knew I was going to be going to Shepherd's Bush, and so I didn't want to buy a bunch of cross-stitch things and like kind of blow my wad, you know what I mean? Because I knew I was going there, and I knew I was going to want to buy stuff and kit up projects, which I had talked about in my previous video. So I wanted to make sure that I reserved some of my budget. So one of the things that I did purchase though was this super cute quilt kit by, it's a Riley Blake box kit, but it is featuring Ghoul Friends by Teresa Kogut. And from experience, I've made a version of this quilt before, from the Broad Stripes Bright Stars book, or Broad Stripes Bright Stars line, which is a patriotic line, which you could still find that kit on Happy Little Stitch Shop. I've seen it there. I almost purchased it because I no longer have access to the quilt I've already made, which was amazing. And I did all kinds of extra quilting and stuff on that. But anyways, I digress. So this one is so freaking cute. And I actually almost pre-ordered this particular kit off of Happy Little Stitch Shop. But then I was like, no, I'll just wait and see if I actually want to buy it and actually make it. Well, it was there, and so I bought it. It's one thing about Pine Needles is they are kind of spendy. They're on the higher end of retails for some of their product. So just know that going in. yeah. I could have saved probably $10 if I had purchased this through an online shop or through Happy Little Stitch Shop. But I was there and it's gorgeous. Look how cute it is. So these are applique stars that you put on after you finish this center part, just based off the construction photo, like what I'm seeing here. And then these are pieced. So this is, that's what it looks like. And it's got like a stripe binding. It's so freaking cute. So this right here is the panel. So I just have to cut that down. And really the only piecing is these squares right there, which is just 4 patches, which won't take very long. And then putting it all together and then adding the applique, which will be fusible applique that I'll just stitch down with thread and then quilt it. So cute. And it's 51 by 61.5. And this is by Teresa Kogut. It's called Ghoul Friends. Freaking adorable. Oh my gosh, love it. So I got that. While I was there, I also picked up this new Cute Cuts mat by Lori Holt. It's like 5 inches by 8 inches. So this is really great when you have like a million small pieces that you have to like square up. Like if you're doing a bunch of half square triangles and you're just sitting there watching TV, having a small mat like this so you can turn it makes it really easy. Or if you're going on like a sew day. So these kind of small cute cut mats I really like. I also have another one back here. You can see that coral color. That's the next size up. So I really like that. There is a new fabric line by Riley Blake for Jane Austen house called Emma that has been released. And I am also doing the 250th quilt that is being released from that. I pre-ordered mine from Happy Little Stitch Shop, but I wanted some of the yardage just to have. And so these are fat quarters. So let me see if it shows. Yeah, it shows them walking. It's so pretty. I thought like a project bag or pillow or something. The Jane Austen, the Austen family crest symbol, which is the stag. Cindy Cloward talked about that on a recent video. Cindy Cloward is the owner of Riley Blake. A thistle, pink, and this pretty floral. So I picked 4 that went together. I thought they were pretty. So I got that. And also while I was there, I picked up their 36 count fabric section was not the greatest. But I did find this, and it's like a vintage country mocha. It's this Zweigart. See, and there's no tag, which is stupid. So I have to find the receipt because the receipt says what the color is. But it's a 36 count, like vintage smoky white. I want to say it's blowing out, but think vintage country mocha with white and gray. That's what this fabric is. So it's got a modeling on one side because it's a printed fabric, and then it's plain white on the other. So I got a fat quarter of that because, you know, stash builder, could use it for lots of things. I actually think there is something I already think I'm going to stitch on this. I have a thought, which I can't share with you right now until I actually decide if I'm going to do it. So that is one thing I got from Pine Needles. And actually that's all I got from Pine Needles. And the other, there's a few other shops in Gardner Village. Like they had a fudge shop, like a candy shop, and they had, which we got like a Birdie Bots Every Flavor Bean Advent for later on this year. We also got, we went in this one store that had like men products. Like it was a guy store. And so they had like beard stuff, and they had knives, and they had hats, and they had like cool movie memorabilia, which I'm like, I don't know why that's just for dudes, because like I think that's cool. But my husband bought a cool hat, and then we went into, there was like a kid toy store that had a lot of books and stuff, and it was more of like a bookstore that had toys. And so we found this cool Star Wars folded flyer. So it's like a paper airplane book, but it makes the Star Wars ships. So I got that for my boys to share. And then I know that this is technically a kid's storybook, but I thought the illustrations were so pretty that I loved it. And so I picked up a copy of Aesop's Fables. I mean, it's just, the illustrations are lovely. And I love books like this. I have a Cinderella version of a book like this. And Aesop's Fables, what I really like is that it tells you, like, it has the Aesop fable, and then it tells you what the moral of the story is at the bottom. So, like, makes it easier for kids to understand. Like, not crying wolf, what does that mean? Kind of stuff like that. So, that's that store. And then there was another store that had women's clothes and gifts and that kind of stuff. And they also had these little army men that I think my husband forgot he bought. He wanted them for the boys to play with, so I'll have to keep those out. But they had some really cool books, and they had the Wordsworth edition books. And they obviously have these on Amazon. But I love these editions of these books. My version of Emma, Sense and Sensibility, Treasure Island, they're all the Wordsworth editions. This one is different because it has like the painted cover of Robinson Crusoe. I'm pretty sure I already own this book in a hardback, but I saw this and I was like, we're getting that. And my oldest son was like, what is that about? I'm like, it's about being trapped on an island and like what he does and stuff. And he's just like, oh. I'm like, would you be interested in reading it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So we bought it with the intention of him reading it, but also to go on my shelf. Isn't it lovely? Oh, so good. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Amazon also, but it's the same price. It was the same price as Amazon. And in a previous video, I had talked about Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Tales, because I picked up a Katrina Van Tassel story, like novel. And I have a paperback edition, like some rando paperback edition of The Sleepy Hollow, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but they had this edition there, and it's got like the gold gilded pages, and based off this, I think it's technically an English edition, but I mean, look at that print, it's so small. Good thing I don't have a problem reading close up. It's far away that I'm blind. But I got this edition for me to read in the fall when I'm stitching on my my Sleepy Hollow piece. So this is a future plan. This is a future read and future plan. So that is all from Gardner Village. So we got some books, and keep in mind, this was like a family trip, so we have all the things, right? Okay, so now I'm going to get into Shepherd's Bush and what I bought at Shepherd's Bush. I had talked about in my new starts, the Happy Day chart. I did kit up the floss for that. I already had the fabric in my stash, from like just purchasing some on 1, 2, 3 stitch. Sorry, the dog was wanting out. So we have shepherd's bush, which was our last stop. My husband I dropped my husband and my boys off to go see How to Train a Dragon. And while they were off doing that, I went, which there was a theater right around the corner from Shepherd's Bush. So that was his plan, not mine. So I could go to, he brought it up and thought it was a good idea. And I was like, I agree with you. So I went to Shepherd's Bush. My dog is being so needy right now. And I kitted up a few projects. Originally, I was going to kit up Nelson and the Long and Winding Road. Now, this pattern I still want to kit up. However, I'm trying to decide, do I want to kit it up with all the overdyed threads for all this fiddly stitching? I don't think I do. I think I'm going to just do the DMC conversion for it, because I really just don't want to spend that kind of money on something I'm not going to see the variegation for. The one thing I might change or might get the overdyed for is like the road part, because there's so much stitching you will see the variegation. And maybe for the house color, maybe. We'll see. I haven't got that far. I didn't kit up this one yet. That will be after I finish Blue Skin, which I did kit up. So, that was the original plan, right? Was to, excuse me, kit up that. So these are the flosses I have already on hand for Blue Skin and Nelson. I have them on one ring that I'm going to just keep them all on. And so when I'm done with this video, I'm going to actually kit out everything and put everything in bags so that I can just start them when I'm ready. So let's look at my bag of shepherd's bush, shall we? There's some good stuff in here. Trying to figure out how to get this to not fall over. There we go. Okay, so shepherd's bush always gives you like this little needle thing. I've already used the needle. They tied up flosses. I've already pulled some of the flosses out of this for Happy Day. That's some of the DMC that I needed. Now, I went there with a shopping list, and I knew by design what colors I needed. So what I did was I knew that I was going to be kitting up the word plays that I had purchased previously, like in my first part of the haul. I had that ring with all those colors. So based off of that, I knew what colors I still needed. So also walnut is a unicorn at this juncture. And so if you know where to find the color Walnut by Gentle Art, let me know, because I need like another skein. I'm purchasing a skein from a friend, but I know I'm probably going to need another skein. Anyways, so what did I kit up? Let me try and pull things that I know are for a pattern that I know is, that makes no sense. Anyways, so one of the things I knew I wanted to kit up was Halloween Greetings by Blackbird Designs. I don't know if this is still in print. However, if you can find a copy, it's a great stitch. It's not very big. And I'm wanting to stitch the little pumpkin also, but I'm going to start with this sampler. And what did I get for that, you ask? So I got, because the original called for color. Oh my goodness, there's stuff falling. The original color is like some, what is that, Lakeside? No. It's an R&R. 30 count that is 18th century sea glass by R&R, which is an out of print color that they're not really dyeing that color anymore. So one of the gals there at Shepherd's Bush, we were looking in the 32 count. I think this is 32 count. Yeah, dark cobblestone. It says Weigart. It's just a plain. My thought is that I might brew up some coffee and some tea and cool it and then soak this and do some modeling. And maybe set it out in the sun. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do because it's just a plain fabric. So let me, where's my board? Hold on. The floss toss was fine. Like the floss toss was good. So this is the color. And this is, you need a bunch of skeins of Jack-O-Lantern by Weeks Dye Works. And then you need one skein of dark chocolate for the sampler. So it's pretty close. But I want it to be more modeled, I'm thinking. So I'm trying to decide how I'm going to make that happen. But I still have time to figure that out. So I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, so I got 36 count, a fat quarter of 36 count dark cobblestone by Zweigart to go with this. Because I don't want to stitch it on a 36 count. I would have rather have done like a 28 count, but I didn't see anything in their 28 count that would work. So yeah, I mean, I might just change my mind and get a different fabric altogether. Because yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, it has to be light enough that the dark shows up, but dark enough that it has that color. So I don't know. So that is Halloween Greetings by Blackbird Designs. And let's see, what's the next thing? I'm just gonna start pulling things out of the bag. So I got a pony black needles in 28s, just to see what they're like, because people talk about them. And then my favorite Bowen 28s. I got some Seraphim Old Stationery. This is like a fat 8th of 36 Old Stationery. Cedar River Overcast in 36 count, and I think this is a fat 8th based off price. I got a fat 8th of Patriots Brew by R&R, which is lovely. This is for something. So while I was there, like I said, I had things that I wanted to kit up. I wanted to kit up Happy Day, which I already had fabric for, so I just needed floss. And I wanted to kit up Salem Mini Moon, which I just needed floss for. I already had the Affogato, which that piece of Affogato is going to be able to stitch both of those things. So I have that kitted up now with all the floss. See, these are all the flosses. And then the other thing that I wanted to kit up was Blueskin, but I didn't have the right color fabric. My original thought process was that I was going to use the color Almost Rain by Dames of the Needle. And that's what the color I really wanted to use, because it was calling for 36 count Nantucket Brew by R&R. But again, trying to find that color, I'm not interested in trying to find a color that's hard to find. I'd rather just pick something that's similar, and that's what I did. So this color is 36 count Stormy Night. It's a Zweigart. So it's like vintage country mocha, but like gray and blue. So I thought that was a close-ish color. And the white will stand out on it. So that's the main part of the design. So that was what was most important, was that that white horse shows up. So now if for some reason I look at this fabric and I do a floss toss with it again, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that, because this is kind of blowing out, you know what I mean? If I decide that it's not the right color, I'll just go with my original plan, right? And use this for something else, because this is a great color. I mean, it's like Vintage Country Mocha is a staple. These colors by Zweigart are great colors for stash building. So just put in your stash. Don't fall. Okay, so what else did I buy? Oh yeah, so I have never seen this color in person, so being able to find it in person was awesome. This is Abecedarian by R&R in 36 count. It's expensive. Well, actually, it's not as expensive as some of the other colors out there, so I guess it's not really, but that way I have some because I've never used it. It's just like a beautiful, I mean, they're all like a coffee base dye from what I understand. So, you know, there's lots of dupes out there. Okay, and I am a collector of the Garden series by Blackbird Designs, and I have 1 and 3 in my stash, but like I have a list on my phone of all the Blackbirds I have to make sure that I don't buy them twice, and to make sure like, oh, do I actually own that? And I see a pattern, oh, let me check my phone and see if I have it, because if I don't, then I'll pick it up, kind of thing. So I got Apple Orchard, which is Garden Series 2. And then this is the Gardener, which is Garden Series 9. This is a new reprint. So that's readily available. That's the thing about these charts, is that they go in and out of print. And then this is Garden Series 12. I'm going to insert a photograph of the finish that Blackbird Designs has on their wall of the Garden Series. And what is awesome about this series is that they are all stitched on different color fabrics. And the point is that you stitch them together like a quilt, and then you just frame it up or whatever. And I would love to do that. So I am planning to stitch things on similar color fabrics as the photo, because you can tell that they're different hues of color. And so that's my plan, to do that when I stitch these. I mean, who knows? I might not stitch them all together. I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see. I also picked up the Holiday Inn by Brenda Gervais with Egg Needle and Thread. This is a chart that I love, and I think it's a great chart, and I like that the whole house isn't filled in. So I thought this was fun. So I picked that up. And the last thing in the bag is the Scary Bag by Shepherd's Bush. And I bought the kit, so it has the buttons and the floss. I also purchased the little zipper pull. I know it has a spider on it. I know. I don't normally do that. But I also picked up the bag. So that is everything I got from Shepherd's Bush. Oh, wait. And this one floss. This one silk called Enchanted Forest. Just for funsies. That's everything I got from Shepherd's Bush. I had a great trip, and I'm blessed to be able to have gone on that trip with my family, and we had a great time. There weren't any problems or accidents, except for like there was that crazy weird windstorm thing we had to drive through on the way home. But other than that, it was a great trip, and we had... Okay, that's all I have for today. I know it's a lot, but we went on vacation and I got to go shopping. So, no retreats or anything this year. So this is kind of like that kind of a video, right? But yeah, so thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. I know it's a lot. I know it's a long video. So I really appreciate you guys watching it and sticking around to But if you stuck around this long, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. And again, if you have any questions about anything, just let me know, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.